in life for the younger generation, yeah? There's no point in carrying guns and knives, you know.
Welcome to the Realist Show Out, where we discuss and talk about the latest issues and topics to affect our communities. Do not forget to like, do not forget to subscribe, and do not forget to leave a comment down below. Today we have a special guest joining us again. If you can introduce yourself, please.
My name is Ryan Parasram, and I go by the name as Ryan P.
Thank you for joining our show, Ryan. Absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, v4yav Media. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Today we're going to talk about and discuss the importance of keeping the right company. So without further ado, it's just a conversation. What is the importance in your view of keeping and maintaining the right company?
Well, if you have the right people around you, they can inspire you to do more positive and good things rather than committing crimes on the streets. If there are people that are like, maybe like, even if they're not working in like with a proper job, at least having the right environment to help you persevere in your life and help you to move forward in your life, basically. So yeah, that's the importance of what I would say personally, of having the right people around you.
It's really fantastic point. So, you know, having the right person around you should be able to support you, motivate you, and there shouldn't be any jealousy in terms of, you know, your goals, your achievements. If you're excelling, your friends should be supporting you, and if they're not supporting you, they're not good friends. So we're talking about the importance of having good company, and you've spoke about the benefits of having a good company. What are some of the benefits of having bad company? What does that look like?
If you have bad company around you, then that might make you want to do more bad things and negative things. But that's what I would say about having a bad company around you. That's what I would say about having that would make you want to do more bad things and do things that you shouldn't really be doing, to be honest with you. So that's my personal opinion of having bad company, I would say.
Yeah, and young people, you need to really look at your peer group. Is this my friend? Is this a person who's going to support me through thick and thin? Are they going to be there when things are bad? When I'm at my lowest, are they going to be there to pick me up, help support me? And if they are not able to do that, then you therefore need to change your company, because they're bad company. Let's talk about jealousy. What does a jealous friend look like in your eyes? Or jealous company?
Well, how
can you identify it?
To be honest with you, in general, I don't really think about people being jealous, not just on me, but in general. I don't think about jealousy much. But if you're a lot more successful than other people around you, then that might make them be a bit jealous of you. I'm not saying, that's my personal opinion in general, but me personally, I wouldn't, like, if people were jealous of me, I'm not saying they are, but I wouldn't even make a big fuss about it. I would still look at it in a more positive way than a negative way. But jealousy, as I said, it can be when you're very successful and you get a lot more things that other people haven't got, that can make people around you a bit more jealous of you as well. So that's what I would say about people being jealous of you and things like that, basically. So yeah, that's it.
You made some really good points. You know, what I like about what you said is that you don't pay attention. But if that's in your circle and if that's your peer group, they've got to go. They have to go. If somebody is jealous because you're more successful than them, then they're not a real friend. They should be celebrating your success. They should be happy for your success. They should be overwhelmed by your success. In fact, they should be motivated and inspired by your success. And if they're not motivated, inspired by your success, then they're not good friends. They've got to go. They have to come out of the circle. And it's very important, because a wise man once said, show me your company and I can tell you who you are.
Sure thing. Yeah, so yeah, as I said, I mean, having just, I mean, as I said, if you I mean, me personally, I wouldn't say if people are eventually being jealous of you, doing more so. I wouldn't even make a big fuss about that. I mean, like, people, how would I say it? It's like people that are around you, even if they are jealous of you, try not to look at it in a negative or bad way as well. As I said before.
But it's going to affect you. If you've got somebody who's around you who doesn't want to see you win, doesn't want to see you achieve, doesn't want to see you prosper, how can you ignore that? How can you ignore such behaviour?
But that's not being a true friend, to be honest with you. It's not about the jealousy, but in general, people helping you to move forward and they're not doing that. That can be not a true friend.
That's not a true friend.
That's not really a true friend.
So they've got to go.
So
they've got to go. If they're not a true friend, they've got to go.
Basically, got to go. Basically, so that's it.
Because nothing positive is going to come out of someone being negative or jealous towards you. What positivity can you possibly take from that?
But sometimes you need people around you to help you as well to move forward in your life. And then people like that, they can be counted as a true friend. Ones that help you to move forward in your life and to do things to better yourself and better your life. And help you to persevere and move forward in your life. That is more of a true friend. And that's somebody that's not jealous of you. That's my personal opinion. That's somebody that helps you help you move forward in your life, rather than pushing you back in your life. That is being a true friend. So that's what I would say being a true friend is.
And it's important to have true friends. You know, young people, if you're not sure if somebody's supporting you, and we all have friends that we can all think of people that are around us that we know 100% that person doesn't want the best for me. Or how do we identify them? If you share your accomplishments with them, if you share your success with them, if you tell them of some of the accomplishments you've achieved and they don't celebrate you, that's a sign that they're not happy for you. And if they're not happy for you, they're not supporting you, like you said, Mr. Ryan, if they're not helping you move forward with your life, if they're not pushing you, motivating you, inspiring you, then why are they in your life? We have to ask ourselves these questions, especially as young people who are easily influenced by negative energy, negative influences, media, negative peer pressures, negative social groups. We have to start to introspect, look at ourselves, look at those around us, and if they're not motivating, inspiring or pushing us, they have to be excluded from the circle.
Yeah, and being a Christian believer, I've got to say that God will always put the right people in your life.
Amen.
To help you and inspire you, help you to move forward. Being a Christian believer, that's what I've got to say. That's a very important point.
But in the same tone, Satan's always also going to put negative people in your life. If God's going to put people in your life,
when you please God, Satan tries to attack you. When you're pleasing God and doing things,
definitely,
and helping your community and people around you, that's when Satan, the devil, tries to attack you more. That's when he wants to attack you more often. That's when you're pleasing God. That's when people want to bring you down and frustrate you, do things to frustrate you and bring you down and make you depressed and negative and secular and all these different things. But that's what happens when you please God. That's when Satan, the devil, tries to attack you. Being a Christian believer, that's what I've got to say.
100%
with you. So,
and that's a really valid point. In this life, Satan's going to send people into your life, young people. Satan's going to send people into your life to destroy your life, to ruin your life. God's going to send people to help your life, to inspire your life, and to push you forward in the things that God's called you to accomplish. And it's really important to be able to identify these people, because if you don't, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, but another thing, God will always reveal to you who's a true friend and who's not a true friend. That's another thing that God will reveal, even if it's not straight away. Eventually,
what are some of the ways that God can reveal who's a good friend and who's a bad friend?
Well, if they're like, one little example, if a friend's been there from you from day one up to, and then in the future as well, and they're helping you and push you, inspiring you, helping you to move forward, then that shows that's been a true friend. But if you have somebody from a young age that's not helping and inspiring for a young age, then that might happen in the future that they still might not be a friend.
Brilliant point.
A true friend. So,
and there's also people around you, have you experienced this? There's people around you that maybe pretend to be celebrating your success, pretend to be your friend, but they're not really your friend.
Well, to be honest with you, my personal opinion of that question is that me personally, haven't looked at that. I mean, I have got my CD with 12 tracks in it, and obviously, I feel that some people, my family and some of my friends are pleased with my achievements, But me personally, I wouldn't say I would know who's actually pretending that they're pleased with my success. I haven't actually, I don't actually know that at the moment, to be honest with you. So that's what I would say. I mean, as you said, obviously people you might think they're pleased with your success, but they're trying to cover up the sort of.
They're really
not really.
They're not really happy for you.
Yeah. So, but as I said, I mean, I can't always know that, to be honest with you, because if they're treating that and you're saying, "Oh, I'm very happy with you," then you might not know if they're pretending to like your success. They might be, but you wouldn't even know if they're pretending or not. If they're saying you're happy with your success, so you wouldn't even know if it's in the background, basically.
Yeah, it will take time. Like what you're trying to say is basically you're not going to know straight away. Sometimes it's hard to decipher or discern who is for you and who is against you.
Yeah, that's
but
exactly.
time eventually will reveal who's for you and who's against you.
Yes.
And again, bringing this back to the main point, young people, you have to be able to identify who's for you and who's not for you. If you cannot identify who's for you, how are you going to know who's against you? And if you cannot identify who's against you, how are you going to know who's for you?
Yeah, well, basically, yeah, that's a very good question. Because like a lot of young kids have to be taught from a young age who's for you and who's against you. As you just questioned me, it's good for young kids and young people to know from a young age who's for them and who's against them. Mainly parents, even if it's like a single mum or a single dad or like normal parents. Obviously, I'm not to be disrespectful about mums and dads and parents, but I'm saying, but it's good to have the right like family and friends around you from a young age, and then to reveal who's being your true friend from a young age, and then moving on in the future as well. So that's another thing I say about being a true. It's good to know who's being the true friend from a young age, and then rather than a bit of an older age. It's good to know it from a younger age rather than an older age, basically.
I think that's one of the most outstanding points made on this show. Family support networks are so important. Family and friends are so important. And if we don't have the right family setup, right family support network, things can be a catastrophe. So what you're trying to say in essence is that it's so important to be able to identify from a young age who's for you, who's against you, from a young age rather than later on in life when it maybe becomes a bit more trickier to decipher, understand, discern who's for you.
Yeah, it's good to learn that from a young age. It really is.
And what if you can't? Say for example, because that's a fantastic point, learning from your parents, mum, dad, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties, grandmas, grandparents, godfathers, godparents, etc. If they're not there, then where does that young person get that advice from? Or how can they, if they don't have that from an early age, start to develop?
Maybe they can get
understanding and discerning of who's for them.
Maybe they can get advice from somebody.
Voice for Youth Against Violence.
Yep.
Positive mentors.
Yep, exactly.
Ryan P, MC as well.
Of course, yeah.
Positive people in the community.
Yeah, you try and get good advice to advise you, what will help you and help you to reveal who's for you, who's against you, but get advice about it. If you don't know who's for you against you from a young age, then try and get advice about it from somebody and ask somebody. Like for example, you might say, "Oh, please, can you tell me who's like sort of against me, who's for me, who's against me?" Get advice about it. If you don't know who's against or for you from a young age, or even later in life, but try and get advice. If you don't know straight away yourself, then try and get advice about it from like a person who's a bit more. Get good advice from somebody else, basically. Good advice about it.
And what's really important is being able to accept change. A lot of young people, you're going to be uncomfortable. You may find it uncomfortable deciding who is for me and who's against me. What friends should I keep? What friends do I need to get rid of? Change is going to be essential.
Yeah, as I said, you need advice about it. So if you can't reveal it straight away, then try and get advice about it, so you can discuss about these things. And then you can go from there, basically.
Can I ask you another question? What would be some of the characteristics in a good friend? We'll look at characteristics in a good friend and characteristics in a bad friend. So we can try and help the viewers and the young people that are watching this start to recognise who's for you and who's against you.
Yeah, as I said,
so let's start with good characteristics. What are some good traits that a good friend would have? For example,
love, care, joy, peacefulness, gentleness, all these little things will mean a lot.
What would a negative friend look like? What are some of the behaviours and traits they would display, would you think, in your personal opinion?
My personal opinion, possibly might be a little bit more aggressive here and there. They might talk a little bit more aggressive rather than in like a calm way.
So communication's one way to that.
Even little things like that.
How they're speaking to you, how they respond to you, the tone and what they say, and how they say it.
I know that is one little thing, not a major thing. That's
one. That's still a fantastic point.
Speaking with aggression, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a major thing, but that's
it's a sign. It could be a sign. Something's wrong here.
So that could be a sign, obviously.
What are some of the other things you think? So being aggressive in their communication, in their tone. What are some of the other things? I'll give you one. I think one could be, and it's one of my biggest ones. Whenever you accomplish something or you share an achievement with somebody and they don't have any reaction, they don't celebrate, they're not happy, they don't say well done, oh that's fantastic, oh that's hard, oh my gosh, how did you do that? Oh man, I want to be like that. That's one for me.
Well, even that, you got to try and look at it in a more positive way as well. I know, even if you don't like that sort of thing, you still try and look at it in a more positive way and don't be aggressive about it. Just try and, even in that situation, try and still be calm about it. Don't react to it. Don't be aggressive. Just don't react. Don't be aggressive towards it. Just treat it in like a normal way, like someone treat it in a happy and positive way. Like even if it might be a negative, still try to look at it in a positive way and still be calm about it at the same time. Be positive. Still be trying to be as positive as possible, and don't try and let it get to you as much as possible, basically, as well.
Another identifying factor that came to my mind was whenever, you tell somebody that, look, I've got a business idea, I've got a dream, I've got an idea I want to do, and people are like, you can't do that, it can't be done, you're not able to do that, that's impossible. Negative feedback or negative criticism. Do you think and agree that could be one as well? So, for example, you tell a friend, I'm gonna try and learn to play the piano, and they're like, you can't learn to play the piano, you've never played the piano before. It's just nothing but negativity. That's another identifying factor. Whenever you try to say or speak on something positive, you're always faced with a negative response.
Yeah, when you're always positive or positive a lot of the time, that's when people can be negative towards you. When you're a bit more positive or a lot positive a lot of the time.
Why do you think that is? In your personal opinion?
It could even be how they're feeling in themselves.
Do you think it could be down to mental health? Substance misuse?
Possibly, but I mean, all these little things that people are meant to help, that they might not want to discuss about these things. Why they're being a bit negative about these things. They might not want to discuss it in general. They might just want to keep it to themselves and not discuss it with somebody else. So that's what I would say. I mean, they might not want to discuss it first because of the way they've been feeling about it. They might not want to discuss it because they might feel if they discuss it, maybe more negatives might come out of it. More negatives might come out of it. So that's what I would say about those negative sort of things as your question. So
another thought that came to my mind also, you can easily identify those who are for you when you're at your lowest point. So whenever you're going through a crisis, young people, maybe you find yourself in a situation right now, look around you. See who's around you helping you. It's easy to have friends when everything's going well. But when things are bad and things are going tough, it's not so easy to have friends. Those are your true friends that stick around when things are tough.
Yeah, but what it is, friends help friends, and it's good to discuss with each other. If you're going through something, it's good to discuss with each other to help you to get through these problems and things you're going through. Because if you keep it to yourself, then there's a possibility nothing will happen. But if you discuss it with somebody, what you're going through, with another friend, then discuss it, and then maybe can help each other that way. If you keep it to, keep it to yourself, then it might not nothing's going to happen. But if you discuss it, try and discuss it with something like another friend, then that might help you to help you to get through these problems and things you're going through. So that's what I would say.
It's another great point. How important is it to have people around you that can invest in you, not just financially, but with emotions, time? and support. How important is that to be able to move forward, especially as a young person in today's society?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you have to. A lot of the time in life, you have to start off small. You can't start off big straight away. You've got to start off very small, bit by bit, and then eventually get more bigger and bigger. Basically, you can't start off big straight away. For example, like rappers,
Humble beginnings.
humble beginnings. Yes,
There's nothing wrong with starting small.
You have to
Is what
start
you're
small.
basically
You can't.
saying.
Yeah, basically in general, you got to start off small. You can't start off big straight away. You have to start small and then move up bit by bit, and then eventually you might be a bit more successful. You can't start big straight away.
And that's
You got to
important.
start small.
That's important for young people to realise. Whenever you have a dream, whenever you have a goal, don't expect your goal, your dream to be accomplished straight away. Don't be upset with setbacks. Don't be upset with failures. Don't be upset when things don't go your way. Don't give up. Continue to try. Continue to push through is what you're basically saying.
Yeah, even if you feel that when you're starting off small and you feel that nothing's happening for it when you're starting off small, you still got to keep going. If you want to make it in life, you have to start off small and then eventually you make it bigger. But if you start off small and you feel, why is nothing happening here? You still got to keep moving on, and you still got to keep persevering, and then eventually you will get there eventually. But you can't. Even if you start off small and you feel nothing's happening when you start off small, you still got to keep going to help you better yourself and move on, get bigger in your spirit, get bigger. That's what I'd say about starting off small and then moving on in life and getting. And bigger things will come out of your things like that. So that's what I'm saying.
And I feel that that's a fantastic point again, because young people, I know a lot of you have dreams but don't finish them because you falsely believe that I'm not going to be able to achieve this. I'm not going to be able to complete this. I'm not going to be able to succeed. That's a negative voice. You have to take that out of your mindset. You have to learn to develop a mindset that is positive, that's resilient, that is determined, dedicated and disciplined. So that, as Ryan is saying, when the small beginnings seem impossible, continue to push.
Yeah, you've got to keep. As I say, you've got to keep going. You have to keep going. Keep pushing yourself. Because if you don't keep pushing yourself, then when you start small, you're going to still be small. But if you keep pushing yourself, tell myself, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Keep telling yourself, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this, then things will happen for you. You start small and you think, oh, nothing's happening. Why is this happening? But you have to keep moving on. That's when better things will come out of it. Even starting off small, basically.
And just to go back onto some of the conversations we was talking about previously, negative friends. How or what advice do you have in terms of getting rid of these friends? Once you've identified, look, this person's negative, this person doesn't want the best for me, this person doesn't have my interest at heart, this person does not want to see me succeed, is not willing to invest time, resources into what I'm doing, how do you get rid of that person?
It's good to reveal these sort of things. Who's been a true friend and who's not been a true friend. Obviously, you might not be able to see straight away who's been a true friend and who's not been a true friend, but eventually things will happen to reveal to you who's been a true friend and who's not been a true friend. It might not happen straight away, obviously, but even after, as I said before, God will reveal who's been a true friend and who's not been a true friend, and so he'll say things, or he'll reveal through somebody else, who's been a true friend and who's not been a true friend.
Fantastic, and I feel that it's really important to be able to have godly Christian counsel around you. Christian men, Christian women, godly elders, godly women, godly men that can give you advice, guide you and lead you in the right direction.
Yeah. So as I said, obviously God will always put people, if you trust God, he'll always put the right people around you, and he might even use his angels to protect you and guide you as well, and he might use his angels to help people around you to reveal to you, to help you as well. That's another thing I would say.
Some top tips I have for you young people in terms of distancing yourself from negative, jealous, envious friends and peers. Block all forms of communication. Sometimes you have to nip the issue in the bud, which basically means you have to deal with it from the root cause. Sometimes people, when you do reveal their flaws, it's only going to anger them. It's only going to frustrate them more. So sometimes there's situations that call for zero contact. It means changing your number, changing your social media accounts, your friends, followers, etc. You have to treat this as a matter of urgency because it's your future that's at stake.
Yeah, but as I said, you still gotta be calm about these sort of things. It's not easy. Obviously, it's not an easy thing to be calm about these sort of things, but you still have to be as calm as possible about these sort of things. It's not easy, of course, because obviously you always want to have the right people and right friends and family around you as much as possible to help you move forward. And if you have like friends from a young age and you're still in contact after a number of years, then that might be God saying that can be a true friend. Like for example, ourselves. I've known you for like 16 years now.
Easily 16 years plus.
We met at Air Football in 2008. It started 2023, so that's like 16 years at least. So I know obviously you're interviewing me now, and I'm still. This is just an example of it.
It's a great example.
And we're still friends after all these years, and that shows that you've been a true friend. I've been a true friend to you, and you've been a true friend to me. So that's another example of how you can reveal who's been a true friend as well.
Time.
That's just an example.
Time is a great revealer.
Exactly. That's just an example. I'm saying
That's
an
a
example of it.
example.
An example of it. That's all.
And just to touch on friendships, relationships, it doesn't mean that if you've got a friend who you argue with, who you have disagreements with, that's a bad friend. No, we're not saying that. What we're saying is communication is important. No friendship is always going to be smooth, but when it's rocky, there should still be boundaries.
Yeah, even when you go through like with little arguments or little things, still try and move on about it. Forget about, move on about it. Just think to yourself, oh, this hasn't happened. Just forget about, move on. Even if it's like a little argument over something small and stupid and small, just think, forget about that, move on about it. Forget about it, move on, and still keep the friendship at the same time.
If it's benefiting both of you.
If it's benefiting both of you.
In a positive way.
Exactly, of course. 100%.
If it's not so, then that relationship has to come to an end.
I wouldn't say it's got to come to an end, but
if it's negative and it's detriment to your future.
Even if it's negative, still look at it in a more positive way. Even if you feel it's a bit negative, still try and look at it in a more positive way, basically. So.
But getting rid of that person as a friend is not necessarily negative. That could be a positive thing.
Yeah, it can be, yeah. But that goes back to what I said before about revealing who's being a true friend or not, basically. That's what I said before.
Which was a great point. Now, let's talk about some of the feelings. So, in your personal experience, personal opinion, when you've had negative friends around you, what are some of the feelings you felt?
Me personally, myself?
You personally?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm quite a positive person anyway, to be honest with you. I don't, even like negative things, I still look at it in a more positive way, even if it's a negative.
So, if a friend's not supporting you, and friends always arguing with you, always saying negative things to you, trying to pull you down, how is that going to make you feel inside?
Well, it can be a little bit frustrating here and there, obviously, but still try and look at it in a more positive way.
You're not going to feel happy, you're going to be sad, you're going to feel your confidence is going to go, your self-esteem is going to go. What are some of the feelings you have when a positive friend is pushing you, motivating you, and trying to inspire you? What are some of the feelings you have when a good friend is trying to do good things?
That's a positive friend, then, isn't it? That's a good friend to have around you.
What are some of the feelings you feel? I'm asking you.
Happy and positive feelings.
So you feel happy, you feel positive, you feel appreciated, you feel like you belong, you feel accepted.
Of course, all these things you're saying, now, of course.
So that's a good indicator to be able to tell who's a good friend and who's a bad friend by the feelings you receive and you have after being around them.
But you can't reveal this sort of thing straight away.
No, it's a time process.
A time process, that's what I'm saying. You can't reveal this sort of thing straight away. It's not going to happen straight. You're not going to know that. For example, if you meet somebody for the first time, you're not going to exactly know if they're a true friend or not. But I'm not saying don't be nice to them for the first time you meet them, but it's going to take a little while to decipher if they're a real friend or not a real friend. It's not going to happen straight away. When you first meet them once or once or twice, you're not going to know. It's going to take a little while to decipher if they're a real friend or not.
Sometimes you can discern and decipher on the first time meeting somebody that this person's a bit shady. This person's, I'm going to keep away from them. Not all the time, of course not. But you can meet somebody and say, no, this person, there's something about them. That gut feeling that you have. Young people, you may get gut feelings when meeting people. You might have a gut feeling right now as we're having this talk. Maybe names and people are coming to your head. That person's not a good person. No, that person's a bit gentle. No, that person needs to go. Trust your gut feeling.
Yeah, I mean, so, well, as I said, I feel, me personally, I mean, if I meet, it's true what you're saying. If you can't meet a person for the first time, and you think that person might not be a good person to be around, that's true. But as I said myself, my personal opinion of it is you got to meet them quite a few times to know if they're like being a true friend or not.
Definitely.
That's my personal. I know.
Definitely.
I know your opinion of it, but that's my personal opinion of it myself. To be honest with you, because it's good to decipher who's been a true friend or not from, but I think it's better that you meet them a few more times, then decipher if they're being a true friend or not being a true friend. Basically.
How important is it to be able to decipher good and bad friends?
It is very, very important. Of course it is, but at the same time, you got to get to know somebody a bit more before you can decipher if they're a good friend or not. So, there might be some times where you can decipher, when you meet them for the first time, think, that person's not going to be a good person to be around for the second time or another time. But at the same time, it's good to get to know somebody before you can decipher they're going to be a real friend or not. That's another thing as well. There are two different points of what's saying about being a friend or being a true friend. They're the two different points that I'm saying. And
in terms of being able to identify good and bad friends from a young age, how important again is that?
That's very, very important, because it's good to know somebody from a young age, and if you know them over the years and you're still friends after a number of years, then that shows that they can be a very true friend. And if you get to know them, how they are, how they speak, how they are, what they do and everything like that, if they're inspiring you, if you're inspiring them, or helping each other move forward in your lives, things like that, that deciphers that being a true friend. But these sort of things, I think it's more important to have a true friend, knowing it from a young age. Over the years, then you'll know if it's been a true friend as well. But obviously, as you said, you might meet a person for the first time and think that person might not be a true friend. I better not speak to him again or be around him again. But at the same time, it's good to know who's been a true friend from a young age over the years. Then you can decipher quicker if they're being a true friend or not being a true friend.
And if you're in doubt and you're not sure who's a good or bad friend, like you said, speak to somebody.
Yeah, get good advice. Get advice about that. What you got? If you feel, that person, what advice would you give me about somebody being a true friend or not being a true friend? Try and get advice about it and see what the advice people say about that. If someone's been a true friend or not being a true friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on the Realist Show Out. Do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to like. Do not forget to leave a comment down below. Thank you for joining us. Until next time. Thank you for joining us, Ryan.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolute pleasure.
Through the struggles and through the hard times, like a mountain, help me climb and help me to move forward, not to move back. And I gotta show them my appreciation by giving them something back. And through God, I make it come back. And that's not fiction, that's fact. And it's also good important to make a good impact. And together, we have to move forward, not to move back. Through the Lord, we cannot get sidetracked.